the situation of the amygdala in the 21st century. The amygdala brain is probably the most important little thing in the human being, within the human program or within the human brain. Without the amygdala, we just simply wouldn't survive. So we just need the amygdala. And the amygdala was probably perhaps the main center of the first reptile brain. I mean, when the animals developed long time ago, a million years ago, the animals that eventually became the human being, then the amygdala was probably pretty much all they had. And then slowly new layers and layers of fat and soup and proteins and enzymes and bacteria and blah, blah, blah came on top of it. And at the end, we had a brain because of all the tasks that the animals had to solve. So, of course, it developed itself. But my point is that the amygdala is a very important part of the brain, of course, for monkeys and also for all kinds of animals and for the human being as well. Without the amygdala, we wouldn't survive because the amygdala is the center or the fuse that makes us afraid, that alerts us about danger. It gives us anxiety. And the anxiety that we modern people in the 21st century hate to have, because we just hate anxiety. We don't want it. We don't need it. Why do we suffer so much from anxiety when it's not necessary? It comes from the amygdala. So the point of this little talk is that until the 17th century, people needed the amygdala because there were a lot of threats and dangerous animals around, and there were many possible accidents, there were many possible threats lurking around everywhere. In the 21st century, it's not so. So, I mean, in many ways, we don't need the amygdala anymore. If we took away the amygdala, we would have complete freedom. We would be so happy. We would live in bliss. We would live in nirvana. We would live in the Buddhist nirvana. We would be eternally happy if we didn't have the amygdala, because the amygdala is the fist, the clenched fist that makes our brain uncomfortable and makes our emotional center uncomfortable. We are not free because of the amygdala, and also because of a lot of other self-sabotaging programs that we have developed after childhood, because we have downloaded a lot of bad software from bad education and bad upbringing, and from dysfunctional relationships, and from the lack of love, from the lack of care, from the lack of safety and nurturing emotional security. And 80% of the world population among us humans suffer from anxiety, or 99.9%. We all suffer from anxiety. Some people too much, other people perhaps too little. So we need the amygdala. Yeah, all right, I give up. I rest my case. But anyway, you see my point that we don't actually need it in the 21st century, We are walking from our apartments to the shopping center, and then we go to work, and then we go to the hospital, and then we come back home. And then when we go for a walk, we go in Central Park or in Bois de Boulogne, or, well, that could be dangerous enough. Or we walk other places. So, of course, I mean, it's a silly thing to say that we don't need it, because we do need it. Because if we didn't have it, maybe we wouldn't turn off the stove. Maybe we didn't lock the door. Maybe we didn't fill petrol in the car, because we wouldn't have no fear whatsoever. We wouldn't be afraid of anything. So this little talk is actually quite a silly talk, because the point was at the beginning that why the hell do we have the amygdala brain that keeps us in bondage within anxiety and all this horrible stress and PTSD and trauma and bad emotional memory and traumatic experiences and complex PTSD and specific PTSD disorders and all of that shit that we suffer from. Why do we have the amygdala? It gives us a lot of pain and a lot of problems. But again, we need it because if we didn't have it, we would be in trouble. All right, thank you.